Can I just talk about the guy who saved my Arizona Cardinals? The guy who came into here last year and flipped this organization completely around? Because I want to talk about it, and I want to give this man his flowers as soon as possible. I don't want to wait on this. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about, it is Mr. Bald Head Man, Monti Ossenfort, Mr. Big Brain. This guy is literally, and I'm not even joking when I say this, has given me hope for this franchise that I haven't had in so long. I am no longer faking optimism. When we hired him, honestly, I looked at his resume and I genuinely bought in as soon as possible. As soon as I saw what he did with Tennessee and saw what he was doing in the draft, I was fully committed. Obviously, he was gonna have to prove it. This is a different team. He has to roster construct, and oh boy, did he do that. In year one, he made some pretty controversial moves. He cut Deandre Hopkins, allowed him to walk. A lot of people were looking at this and were kind of confused because he didn't garner a trade market. He just let him walk. And looking back at it, it was one of the smartest moves possible because DeAndre Hopkins is no longer going to be on our books. And when it comes to building a culture, I just don't think DeAndre Hopkins was a fit for that. There were rumors that DeAndre Hopkins would take rest days on practice. Like, obviously, he is one of the best receivers in the league, but Monti Ossenfort does not play that.
It's not going, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going, Nah, it ain't gonna work.
Isaiah Simmons as well, one of the most coveted players back in, 2021 when he was drafted, 2020? Just a guy who's a freak of nature, but everybody was calling him lazy. There was one play in specific where Isaiah Simmons just kind of let a guy walk into the end zone and kind of gave up on the play, and everyone was posting about, oh, Isaiah Simmons is a lazy player, and yada, 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 and no one thought Monti Ossenfort would do what was coming next, and that is trade him for basically nothing. We got a 7th round pick in return. That's it. For a guy that the Arizona Cardinals took top 10 in the first round a couple years ago, was deemed one of the most versatile players in the league. Hiring a new defensive coordinator potentially could unlock the best out of him. They shipped him off, and it wasn't a bad move. Isaiah Simmons is a freak of nature. I will give you that. An athletic specimen. But the guy is lazy. He is also not good at what he's supposed to be good at. He was supposed to be a versatile player who is great at covering. We drafted him to cover tight ends. Couldn't do it. When he got traded to New York for that 7th round pick, New York fans have been a little disappointed as well because that 7th round value is looking pretty accurate right about now. So Monti Ossenfort was pretty spot on with everything that he evaluated from Simmons, and getting a 7th round pick, honestly, perfectly fine. Seems about right. So looking back at it, those two moves of cutting DeAndre Hopkins and trading Isaiah Simmons were controversial at the time, but taking a step back, it is perfect for roster construction as those guys just didn't fit the culture for him. On top of that, maybe talent-wise, he just didn't see him fit. So Monti Ossenfort already making those two moves kind of had Cardinals fans shocked. So his first big test was going to be the 2023 draft, and oh boy did he absolutely kill it. Monti Ossenfort and the Arizona Cardinals held the number 3 overall pick. But Monti Ossenfort wasn't competent in that. He did not want to sit there. So Houston called, they negotiated it, and the Arizona Cardinals sent pick 3 for the 12th pick and got another first rounder in 2024 from Houston as well. And what Arizona would end up doing is sending number 12 to trade back up to pick 6 and take, at the time, it would have been right tackle Paris Johnson, while also giving up the 34th and 168th and getting the 81st overall pick back. Monti Ossenfort made a splash move. Everybody in Arizona wanted Will Anderson, who is a phenomenal player. Do not get me wrong. Edge rusher is also a big need, but so is an elite tackle. And Paris Johnson has made the switch to left, so it makes a lot more sense now, as Paris Johnson is just a clear consensus freak of nature. He is like 6'6", just an athletic freak as well. And he is a great blocker. This trade has panned out. It really has. Paris Johnson was shutting down people on the right side. Now he's flipping to the left, and I am confident he's going to be able to do the exact same thing. Looking at the rest of the draft, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through every single pick that he made. BJ Ojulari from LSU at pick 41 is fantastic value. I think he's going to take a leap this year. He was playing injured last year, never even got his full training camp. This is the first time he's been healthy. So if he breaks out this year, you're hearing it here first. And then Garret Williams, coming off an ACL tear, was one of the best corners and could have easily been a 1st round pick if it wasn't for injury. He's probably going to be our starting slot corner this year. I think he is going to absolutely shine. I was super high on Garret Williams, so the fact he fell to us in the 3rd round is an absolute steal. And this guy right here, Michael freaking Wilson. Everything that I have seen in training camp so far makes me believe that this guy is going to be the perfect wide receiver 2 to complement Marvin Harrison Jr. Big body receiver, fantastic for Kyler Murray as he loves his bigger targets, and he had a couple good games last year. Then you get some great value in the back end. You got John Gaines, offensive lineman, haven't seen much of him. Clayton Tune, a guy that you can develop, has great traits at the quarterback position. Then you got linebacker Owen, oh my goodness, I'm bad with names, but Owen Papo. You got Trell Clark in the 6th round who was making plays last year. Then you got Dante Stills, who is an absolute steal for this team, was balling out last year when given the opportunity. Our 2 starting nose tackles went down with injuries last year, and Dante Stills showed flashes. So overall, if you're Monti Ossenfort and you are looking at the draft, they absolutely killed it, and everybody is aware that Arizona has the opportunity to keep building this thing, because last year we were so bad that we held the 4th overall pick. The Cardinals fans were kind of stressing, myself a little bit included. I thought it was pretty obvious that Marvin Harrison was going to be the pick, and I was 85% certain that Monti Ossenfort was just going to sit there and take him. But there is that 15% where I was a little doubtful, because we saw him trade that number 3 overall pick and trade back and still land a player on his big board. We didn't know how the board was going to go. Me personally, I was team Marvin Harrison Jr. I just think he's too elite of a prospect, a 6'4" receiver, just one of the best catchers that I've ever seen. When it comes to being one of the best prospects, I think this is one of the best that I have ever seen in my life, and I've seen Calvin Johnson Jr., who I think was a consensus top 3 pick. It's kind of the same thing for Marv. So when Monti Ossenfort made the selection final and took Marvin Harrison with pick 4, I knew that he was going to kill this draft. Just take a look at this graphic. Just take a look at it. Darius Robinson has the flexibility and the versatility of playing on the outside and the inside, which the Cardinals need desperately. Took him in the 1st round, then we took Max Melton, a cornerback. It's someone that fits a massive position of need, and it gives us another outside corner to pair with Sean Murphy-Bunting, who Monti Ossenfort and the Arizona Cardinals went out and signed. Our corners were abysmal. Now you slide Garret Williams, who is entering year 2 to the slot, with Max Melton and Sean Murphy-Bunting on the outside. I know these guys are young, but this secondary is completely and drastically improved. Then you add Trey Benson, who I think is the best running back in this draft class. Later on in the 3rd round, Monti Ossenfort, you are killing it. Then they took Isaiah Adams, who could have been a little bit of a reach. This is the only one I was a little bit questionable on, which is surprising, because they took Tip Riemann pretty high. A guy who was notoriously known for his blocking was taken high off the board, but Monti Ossenfort believes that Tip Riemann can actually come in here and be a viable pass catcher as well, which sitting behind Trey McBride wouldn't be a bad thing. Trey McBride is going to take a leap too. Monti Ossenfort promoted him and traded Zach Ertz last year. He gave the reins to Trey McBride, and it panned out so well. That might have been a coach's decision, but it didn't matter. Monti Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon are constructing this roster so well. They took Elijah Jones and Dadrion Taylor Demerson, another big body safety, and a corner who is a freak athlete as well. Fits positions of need. We have Buda Baker and Jalen Thompson, 2 great safeties. We need someone to be a backup who can come in here for run support, who can come in here and cover. Adrian does both of those things. Then you got Xavier Thomas and Christian Jones, who I think is a massive steal. He literally played soccer for most of the time, so he has elite footwork for an offensive lineman, and this was basically his 1st year at Texas, and he played fantastic. Cannot complain here. Then we took Tejon Palmer, who I think could be very solid, is competing for a roster spot right now, and Jaden Davis is our final pick. And when I tell you after the end of this draft that my ecstatic levels, or whatever you want to call it, my excitement levels were through the roof, that is an understatement. Monti Ossenfort, I see what you're doing. You are building this roster perfectly. If it's not made apparent, we are going to run the football. Trey Benson, a backup running back, is able to split carries with James Conner, and Trey Benson honestly might not even be the 2nd string running back. We have Amari DeMarcado and Michael Carter as well, who Michael Carter was picked up last year when the Jets cut him at like the trade deadline, I believe. I don't remember exactly when it was, but that was a great signing in itself, because Michael Carter presents the pass and receiving skills that we really haven't had since Chase Edmonds. Now you pair Marvin Harrison Jr. in an offense with Michael Wilson, where it kind of relinquishes a lot of pressure off both of them, because now you have 2 viable pass catchers, and now Greg Dortch is promoted in the slot, who I think was always better than Rondale Moore. Monti Ossenfort traded Rondale Moore, a move I was perfectly fine with and was talking about 5 months ago. Monti Ossenfort had the vision, and he did it. Greg Dortch with the ball is dangerous in space. So this offense going into year 2 of the Monti Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon regime is completely different. And now you pair that with your franchise quarterback being fully healthy now, coming off an ACL tear, learning a new system, playing under center for the first time in his life. He's going to be fully comfortable this year, and Kyler Murray is going to take a lead. He is the quarterback of the future for this team. Whether people want to admit it or not, Kyler Murray is coming to prove a lot of people wrong, and Monti Ossenfort has built this roster so perfect, it is not even funny. Cardinals aren't the same Cardinals that we've always been. We don't have the same identity. The 49ers talked about it a while back. I made a video on that if you guys want to check it out. These aren't the same old Cardinals, and I'm telling you guys, we are going to shock a lot of people. And Monti Ossenfort, you saved us. You saved this franchise from being poverty, and I thank you so much. I can't wait to see what you do in years forward. I think we are genuinely going to have a quick turnaround just like the Detroit Lions did. We're going to have to wait and see, but I am so optimistic for this year, and I am so freaking pumped. Let me know if you guys agree with my evaluations down in the comment section below, and if you're a Cardinals fan, let me know your excitement, and let me know if you think Monty genuinely saved this franchise. I know it's only been 2 years, and it could be a quick and early call, but I think he killed it. Whether it comes to the moves he's made or just the draft in general, I think Monti Ossenfort is nailing everything he has the opportunity to do. So let me know, man. Grade Monti Ossenfort's performance so far in the 2 years, 1 through 10, and also let me know how many wins you think this Cardinals team is going to get in 2024. But with that being said, that is pretty much going to wrap up today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, consider hitting that subscribe button. We just hit 6K yesterday. We are on the rise. We are on the road to 7K. So if you enjoyed today's video, consider hitting it. Like I said, man, that is all I got for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. It's been your boy Mythic. Peace out.